Hi, my name is Tolu Akimbami. I am a proud mom and grandmother, an author of books, all available on Amazon. I am a Jesus lover, ministering to women and men in different nations of the world through the online platform called the Watchers Prayer Ministry. My passion is to lead you in praying those prayers that you have always wanted to pray but did not know how to. Through the help of the Holy Spirit, I bridge this gap by crafting prayers just for you. My second passion is to bring you in touch with real people who have real testimonies of God's faithfulness to answer us when we call through this platform, Conversations with Pastor T. Can you do these three things? 1, share this video. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. And 3, you can receive weekly prayers every weekend in your inbox by subscribing through the link below. Welcome to Conversation with Pastor T. Hello, everyone. Hello to everyone joining in today. So, it's going to be an interesting time today. I have a new camera, so I'm still learning how to use this new camera, but I think as you can see, it has a wider angle to it, but still learning how to focus on it. But welcome to everyone as you join. I'm just waiting for you to join in. Hi, hello, Moji. Hello, good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome. Today's topic is interesting. I hope it's been a great week for you. I hope it's been a productive week for you. Just the way it has been for me, it has been super, super busy. And I've actually asked myself, why on earth do I get myself so busy? But yeah, here we are. So also, I'm doing an experiment. Welcome. Let me see where you're logging in from, your country. Welcome, and let me just say hi to you. It's just good to see everyone as you come in here. Whoa, praise God. So I'm going to proceed. So this topic, we're still on intentional parenting, and it's every week when we conclude with one segment, I realize that, oh my goodness, it is so broad that I have to extend it again into something else. And this week we're looking at the tribe called the Gen Z, the tribe called the Internet Natives, whatever we want to call them. Welcome for those who are coming in right now. And I decided to do a little bit of research. We talk about the Gen Z tribe, we talk about the different generations, but I wonder how many of us really know these tribes. So I got some information. At least let me share this with us first and foremost, okay? So we've all heard of baby boomers. That's where we start from, with baby boomers. And the baby boomers are born roughly between 1966 and 1946 and 1964. So this kind of like the post World War II people. So 1946 to 1966. That technically makes me a baby boomer. I'm at the beginning of no, I'm towards the end of being a baby boomer, right? Then we have the Generation X tribe. So these are born early to mid 1960s to the early 1990s. So the chances are that if you are um, a baby boomer, you would have children who are in the who could also be baby boomers, or I think the age, yeah, who could be baby boomers themselves, or they are in the generation X category. And then we have the generation Y. The generation Y were born in 1980 to 1990s. It says to the late 1990s. Again, it's likely that the generation X um, family gave birth to generation Y. And then finally, we have the Gen Z, the Generation Z, that are called the internet natives. And they are the ones who were born in the early 2000s till now. No name has been given to them. So if you're born in 2000, it means right now you're 21 years old. So they are the Generation Z. Now, they are not technically the millennials, because the millennials are the Generation Y. They are the ones born 1980 to late 1990s. Okay, so these are the categories of people. Now, I did further research to see what are the social characteristics and cultural characteristics of these different generations. So, if you are a baby boomer like myself, it means very likely when you were growing up, socially there was more interaction. You went out more. Those were the days where television wasn't on 24/7. We didn't have cable TV, so you could only watch TV from it. I remember growing up that television started in the evening, if I remember rightly. It started sometime like maybe 6 p.m., I think. Basically, you had gone to school, you were back, and then it started, and then it started. And then there was a time it actually ended. We didn't have 24/7 TV. So it meant that a time came where it wasn't always that you were on television. Okay, so those are for those who are baby boomers. And then Generation X, if that happens to you, it means your parents were very intentional about you not watching TV when you were younger. Also, growing up, we played outside a lot. So you went outside to play, you engaged, you had more activities outside, right? But as we transitioned into the generation Y and X, they play, but their play is more controlled. That's when we take them to maybe a club that has a private club. Good evening, the Christian Communicator. So you find out that as the children, uh, moving from generation Y to Z, their play has changed. It's not as spontaneous as it used to be for the generation X and generation and the baby boomers. Now, question is, what does that mean? Where you don't have this spontaneity anymore. So, growing up, you could go out to the field, you could play with stones, you played with the leaves, you played with nature. But now the modern child began to play with um, more plastic toys, more less what I'll call less nature based um, tools. So these things began to have some kind of are bound to have some kind of behavioral differences between the baby boomers, Generation X, and so on. Hello, Sister Faith. So moving on, I'm moving on to get us to where I really want us to get to today. Now, we could ask ourselves that, okay, why is it that parents would not send their children out these days to play? Your child, you take them to the park, but you're going to stay there. You can't just say, when I was growing up, I could walk down to a far place on my own and be back. But we are in times where you can't do that anymore. You might do that within a certain radius, but you'll be concerned to do that for your young child. So let's come to technology, all right, and media. So I read this: 79% of boomers use the internet. I know I use it a lot. 87% of Gen X use the internet, and 90% of millennials use the internet. Now, of the 79% who use the internet, that is for the baby boomers, it says only 2% have posted a video of themselves. Then, of the 87% of the Gen X, only 6% have posted a video of themselves. Remember, we're looking at a more global, good evening, Sister Pat. We're looking at a more global perspective because you might be thinking, oh, my kids post a lot. We're looking at a very global picture here. But 20% of millennials have posted a video of themselves on social media. Let's talk about that right now. So, what does that mean? I was thinking about Kanye West, and I was thinking of how he was lamenting the fact that his daughter, North, has an active Instagram account on TikTok, oh, sorry, active TikTok account. So I decided to go on TikTok to look for her. And I saw that North has, on some posts, so many millions of likes and millions of whatever. I know that in one of the posts I saw, she does not have, the comments were turned off. So I thought, okay, could that be a deliberate thing? Was it like just did that happen now, or is that a setting that has been made such that there'll be no comments? So if the challenge we have now is when young people are able to post videos or pictures of themselves, what does that mean? And I began to look at certain things about what it means. One, it means more comments. It means more opinions about the person. It means more negativity because for some reason the world likes negative comments. But my question is, can we stop it? Can we do anything about it? Are we supposed, is it possible to stop that trend of having young people on this on social media? At what age is it appropriate to put children or for children to go on social media? I remember when things like Facebook came out, there was an age you needed to be before you could be on those platforms. But over time, those restrictions have been taken off, it would appear, because more and more very young kids are being put on social media. We look at things like parents posting their children in what I'll call awkward situations. Is that okay? And this is the conversation I really want us to weigh in on today. Is it okay to do this? And if we must, what should we as parents be doing? How should we prepare our children for this life that they have found themselves in? And to weigh in on the conversation, I'm going to put in the I'm going to share the link right now, and I want to invite you to join in on the conversation, and let's just see where we can take this conversation to. Okay, so I'm going to send in the link right now. You can come into the studio and have a conversation about it. If you don't want to show your face, it's fine. So I've posted the link right now. If you don't want to show your face, it's fine, but we can have the conversation and let's see what we think. So while I wait for someone to come into the back end, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that if a child hasn't been schooled, now, if a child doesn't have an understanding of her image or his image, who he is, his identity, then the world is going to tell that child what they perceive as the right identity. And that means that that child will begin to live out his life or that life based on the whim of the world around them. Even for adults, like so for celebrities, we see how a celebrity might dress in one particular way today and get criticized. The world is telling them, no, the way you're dressed is too much, it's not good enough, or whatever the world may have to say about that dressing. And it takes a confident person, I think, for someone like me right now. I really don't care. Like, look, my hair is flying off. But even if my hair is flying off, I don't have that feeling of, oh, who's looking at me? I'm not feeling okay. But a younger person may not be like that. So, how do we help? What conversations should we be holding with young people so that even if they must engage these platforms, which they do and they will, it is being done in a way that helps them to know it is you how to keep safe. And that's a different conversation entirely, which is this conversation of safety on the internet. So I'm waiting for someone to join us so that we can hold this conversation about internet safety. While we're even talking about that, I know a number of adults, like maybe my age mates or like a 10-year gap, who say, I don't have any social media account whatsoever. And I know that when it is being said, it's being said from a point of, because, oh, internet is bad, social media is bad, etc. But I ask myself, if you are in business, if you're in ministry, how do you want to get your conversations out? So if you understand why you are in or on this space, it helps you control the narrative a whole lot better. Yes, Moji says that we climbed trees. It's true. I actually have a broken hand. Well, kind of. Yeah, I have a broken hand from climbing trees. But yeah, there you go. So I have put the link in the chat box. Please come in, weigh in on the conversation. I keep saying you do not have to show your face. I know people don't like showing their faces on the internet. Don't worry, I'll show my face. You don't have to show yours. So we're still talking about showing 20% of Gen Y and Gen Z who are comfortable, or they think they're comfortable, putting their faces on the internet, on social media. One of the problems I find with this also is this: not understanding that um, the internet does not forget. The internet does not forget. Once you post something, it remains. You might think you have deleted it, but it remains there. People will pull it out in the future. So, because many young people are not emotionally mature enough, or have not been educated in what is important for them to put on the internet, you find out that um, many young people post information that should never be on the internet, because they can't think beyond 1 year, they can't think beyond 2 years. So they only have this myopic view of life. They think life just begins and ends, in school. And so when they post things on the internet, they don't realize that some things are so sensitive that it should never be done. So that again comes down to us as parents. What conversations are we holding with young people, and what should happen on the internet? Okay. When I was thinking of this, I asked myself, okay, Tolu, did you hold any conversation with your children I wouldn't say that the conversation was like a formal one where I sat them down and began to have that conversation. But I would say that yes, we did over time discuss safety and what should not be on the internet. And I have over time had occasion to reach out to one person or the other to say, take that down. It is risky. it might mis it might be misinterpreted, right? It might be misinterpreted. So we may have an argument here and there, but at the end of the day, they do take it down. So that makes me ask the question: how many of us have even tried to join these platforms just because we need to know what's going on in the lives of our children? Because that's another thing. If you don't know the different platforms that are out there, and you do not know how it functions, then you don't really see what's going on in the life of your children. I can see Moji trying to join, but it's saying your device is not connected. I don't know why it is saying so, but I'm sure eventually you would be able to come through. I look forward to your joining the conversation. And anybody else, please join. Let's have more conversations here. Let's have more conversations about this space. All right. Now we come on to, as we're going on, I want to talk about cell phones. Cell phones. It says here 13% of baby boomers use, the old dialing, the phone that we used to dial. Yeah. I think many young people don't even know what we're talking about right now. 24% of Generation X use the dial phone, and um, okay, I think I'm misreading this. It says percentage of people with only cell phone, no landline. Sorry, so 13% of boomers have um yes, 13% of boomers have only cell phones. 24% of Generation X have only cell phones. 41% of millennials have only cell phones. There you go. No landlines. Now it says 50% of boomers have slept with their cell phone next to their bed. I do that. 68% of Gen X have slept with their cell phones next to their bed. And guess what? A whopping 83% of millennials have slept with their cell phone next to their bed. Now, why is that? Why is that? Why do we sleep with us? I might say that I sleep with my cell phone next to my bed because maybe I use my cell phone for my alarm. I might say I sleep with my cell phone next to my bed because I want, in case somebody calls me, I don't have to move far to get that information. I can say I sleep with my cell phone next to my bed for many, many other reasons. But I think that with millennials, it is the fear of missing out, that discussion that they need to they have on Instagram, on TikTok, on different platforms. So they have the phones there because, like, oh, there's always something happening. Even for us, if you are older, you find that if you are active on any of these platforms, you always want to know what is going on. You always want to find out what is new. And if you're not controlling that conversation, before you controlling yourself, before you know, you spend 3 hours on the phone. So that's the thing that, again, needs to be a conversation that is held with millennials. Okay, so let me move on while I wait for someone to join. First, we talk about the identity of your child or of a young person. How do I view myself? If I'm a young person, how do I view myself? What is important to me? Who do I call myself? What values are important to me? What standards am I setting such that anything that falls outside of those standards, I know it is not okay. I know it is not, um, I wouldn't fall for it. Am I emotionally strong to know that if somebody who doesn't know me or who is just a troll says something negative about me, I shouldn't take it to heart? For this to happen, we parents have to be intentional about constantly speaking to our children, to grandchildren about the fact that who you are is more important, or who you think you are is more important than who the world thinks you are, than who a troll thinks you are, than who anybody who perceives themselves to be important think you are. So we need to constantly hold that conversation. We need to ask questions and see what the influences are. What is influencing them? What platforms are they staying really long on? Are they staying long on the TikTok? What are they seeing? Do you even know what they are seeing there? Because if you are on any of these platforms, sometimes there are some content that are so horrible that you have to ask yourself, how does this get there? How many young people have enough strength of mind and character to say, this content I don't want to see? And that is the thing about being intentional about parenting our children, parenting the millennials, parenting the Gen Z tribe, the intentionality about reaching out to them and talking to them consistently about these platforms. Now, that brings me to this perception on social media that everything on social media is true. When you are mature, you know that there's so much falsehood. Welcome, Catherine. Good to see you. When you're mature, you know that there's so much. That was so weird. Hi, Catherine.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm good.
Good, good, good. Good to have you on. I
Thank
was
you.
just saying that when you're mature, you know that there's so much falsehood in the in the world, and you are able to say, look, this is not real. You're able to query certain things that show up on the social platforms without it putting you under pressure. But young people don't always feel that way. Catherine, weigh in on the conversation. What were you going to say? You're muted.
Okay, yes, sorry about that. Okay, can you re-ask the question, please?
Yeah, I was just saying, what were you going to comment on?
Okay, I'll first of all like to say hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on your time zone.
Hello.
Um, yeah, I would like to say that I joined TikTok. No, sorry, not TikTok. I joined, well, TikTok as well, but I joined Instagram because of my daughter,
Hmm.
because I wasn't sure, a couple of years ago what it was about, because she was basically joining every single app there was to join. She has a LinkedIn account, which I know it's there, but does she use it? No. So because I felt Instagram was back then and still is very, 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 very relevant. And I found out that many children, what they do is that they have the general Instagram account,
Okay.
but they also have the side Instagram account that you have no access to. And that's the one they do
Ah,
all sorts of things on. It's a name you can never know because it could be Chuck E. Cheese, it could be anything that you will never know. They will have the regular name, their own like first, last name or whatever, and all family members join. But then they will have a secret one which you have no access to. You don't even know that it exists.
now that is something else. So if you, as a parent, join their platform and you are holding conversations there, you are saying hi, you're liking their pictures, they behave on that platform. But then
Exactly.
we have a secret platform, a
Hmm.
different account where they
Right.
can now show, oh my goodness. Okay.
Yes. And this was from secondary school days that I knew about this. Okay. So I know it does exist. I remember one time I met a parent who was about her children were about to go to university, and she told me very proudly that her children don't have any phones, and she wouldn't even buy them a phone. And I told
Mm,
her she was fooling herself. That
mm,
you don't need a phone to have an app. They can access their accounts from anyone's phone and do what they want to do there.
right,
So the truth is that we may not be able to capture every single thing they're doing, but we must know what is trending to an extent.
right, right.
I couldn't join TikTok, but I don't have a need for TikTok yet.
Hmm.
But I know people who are pastors who do 1 minute videos on a daily basis, and it is the word.
Right.
So the truth is that we just need to know what all these platforms are about. We just need
And
to,
then maximize it. So how do we help the millennials, the Gen Z, who are on these platforms? How do we, because we're not there to spy on them, right? We
right,
want them to use these platforms responsibly. So what
exactly.
conversations should we be holding with them before or while they are on these platforms?
Well, there's something I always say to teenagers I work with. I always tell them, don't post what you can't take back.
Oh,
And
that's
like
a,
you've said
that's a good one.
before,
Don't post
yes,
what you
I
can't take back.
yes, and you have to own what you post. Like I always tell people, don't forward me messages if you don't know if it's true. You forward me a message, oh, it's been a big accident. Everywhere is locked down. If you cannot verify it, you're responsible for that information you're passing by, this passing through. And this also goes for adults. Don't
Mm,
send me information you have not clarified, or at the
mm,
end or the beginning, say yet to be clarified or yet to be confirmed.
mm, mm.
Because a lot of people are very irresponsible in just forwarding messages
Right,
without actually checking what that message is really saying.
right.
And regarding millennials, it's a very sad thing because it's as if they live off of people's opinions on social media.
Mm,
So you hear of people committing suicide because now there's now cyberbullying,
right.
which is now a very big deal. You see celebrities sometimes shutting down their accounts because they have become a target.
And a celebrity is very likely at least a young adult, and
Yes,
emotionally, it's just something. No, actually, no human being can actually take bullying for long. You can't always say, "Oh, I don't care," you know.
exactly.
Talk less a
You know,
young person like 10, 12.
exactly. Who from time even have no business being on these platforms when they're so
Mm,
young. But when you're talking about the millennials today who are already like late 20s, 30s, um, they still take a lot of what should I say? It's a lot to them for people to comment on their post. And
yes.
even for the Generation Z, I've noticed that when they post something on Instagram, They're constantly checking how many people have liked what they have posted.
I want to weigh in on that point. I think that's a very good point because when when you see the likes, so today now you are you posted something, you had 100 likes or 1,000 likes. Tomorrow you have 5 likes. They you even an adult you can internalize it and
Right,
makes you feel as if, oh, there's something wrong with you, and you begin to relate your value as a person to the number of likes that you had or the number of comments that you had. So my
right,
question still is this: how do we speak as parents to the Gen Z tribe, such that they do not internalize these things? That really is a conversation I want us to have. What should we be telling them? How should we be helping them?
right. Well, the truth is that all these apps and more would come are here to stay. They're not going away. They
Good.
may just be replaced by a newer one that can do something more fantastic than what these ones are doing. So there must be a balance.
Right.
There must be a purpose. Why are you on this particular app? What does it do for you? And if at the end you hear what they have to say, and you can hear that from the conversation that something really vain, and it's something that can lead to a very dangerous line. For example, I'm trying to make friends. You cannot make friends on social media, true
Mm,
friends. You
mm.
can only have fans, colleagues. Many of these teens, if you look at teenagers of Generation Z, if you look at their followership, they have thousands of people following them. Does that mean they know who these people are?
No.
No, they. So it's not about making friends. For me, they must know must be a balance, and there must be a purpose defined. Not that if we want to be so strict on it, but they must understand the purpose. So they don't. I know, for example, at the time when FaceTime was very big with the iPhone, I don't think
Mm,
most people do it anymore because other apps are now doing video calls. So you don't really
mm.
people doing the FaceTime. But back then, I remember back then, they will wake up and take a picture. I just woke up without brushing that teeth. And I couldn't understand what this. I was like, why? You know. So the purpose for me of that FaceTime at that time for that generation wasn't because they wanted to FaceTime a loved one that they have not seen in a while,
Right.
but because they wanted to keep a status of their daily activity, which now becomes dangerous for someone who's a pedophile to track them. Because many people will come on social media, put on a face of a young person, but these people are 60-year-olds, 40-year-olds.
So sorry. Irene wants to join. Irene, can you see the link now on YouTube? Okay, it's not showing. It's not showing on Facebook. You say, I'm coming. Let me just put this on Facebook. This is a very interesting conversation. I really need us to. Um, I want to just send this link on Facebook when eventually. Please continue your conversation.
Yes. So I'm saying that the most important thing is they're not going to, you cannot tell them not to use a particular app, but
Absolutely.
you can have the conversation of why they're using that app. I gave an example that my daughter has a LinkedIn account, but it is over her head. She's not yet in that workforce to understand LinkedIn, but she just has it open. She just go about opening a bunch of accounts from different apps, not because they even understand what the purpose is. Just want to know they have an account there. So, at
But
the
at
end of
least
the day,
in the case, I have posted a link now on the Facebook and um on YouTube again. Yes, on Facebook. But in the case of LinkedIn, we can say, okay, this is a professional platform, right? And we can talk about it. But
right,
in social, I mean, they must have a social. this is like their life now. I'm
Right.
thinking that holding conversations about, you have said something, you said holding conversation about the value of these platforms is important. That is good. Then holding conversations, I think holding that conversation about who you are, I don't know, I just think it's something that is so important,
Right.
and then for us as parents, creating that avenue where they can always come back to talk to us about um what they're experiencing is very important. I don't know if you want to talk about that. The
Mm.
ability to be able to say, look, this is what I'm experiencing, this is what I'm going through. I think is also very important.
So it now comes down to the parent-child relationship. If
Mhm.
before, as a parent, you don't have an open relationship with your child, that your child actually expresses their true issues with you,
Feelings,
when they
yes.
come and meet you when they're having issues on a particular social media app.
So it starts from before. It starts from before where um, you have established solid relationships with your children. So by the time you now want to talk, they now have that. Um, because when we've heard of children who, at one point or the other, um, deleted themselves because of cyberbullying and the like, it's a cause for concern that, okay, what could have happened? um, is it that they did not find that avenue to be able to speak with their parents before this happened? Okay, this is so an interesting conversation, and I really feel that I'm going to have to bring in um, some experts in this conversation, particularly where it even also pertains to security, knowing how to set your devices to keep yourself safe and secure and all of that. I think it's a very good conversation for us to have. Irene, are you able to join? And then Moji, you had tried to join earlier on, but your device wasn't connecting. Do you want to try again? And then before we call it a day, Patricia, you don't want to talk? I can see you. Maybe we can learn from your own personal experience. Okay. I know some families that have decided that they're very strict about um delaying when their children get on these platforms as much as possible. And I think that is really nice. It's like, even though at school encourages you to have your device, they have this BYOD, bring your device. Okay, she's here. Let me add her. Hi, Irene.
Hi. Can you take me off video?
You can take yourself off video.
Um.
Let me remove you for now and see if you can figure it out. You can take yourself off video. Let me see. Okay, good.
I got it.
All right, you're up now.
Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
good to see you. Welcome.
Welcome.
You
So
want to weigh in on the conversation?
yeah, I do. I do.
Thank
And
you.
something Catherine said is so true. Social media is here to stay.
Hmm.
It's actually the future of the world. I know a lot of people have heard about metaverse, you've
Yeah.
heard about NFTs and all that stuff. That is really where we are heading in this world. So, when it comes to the young generation, millennials and moving forward, this is their new world.
Mm.
We cannot stop it. If you go back to like the 1920s and even the early 1800s, humans kept evolving, and the previous generation always thought something new was to be halted, and they felt it was evil and not progressive.
Hmm.
All we have to do over time is develop ways to help things evolve.
Right.
Protection we're talking about right now, protecting the young ones on social media. Honestly, that cannot happen. It can only happen really from home, human nature. And
Ah,
what I mean is
kids.
building these children
And
up,
even the 1800s
build,
kept
building them up.
evolving. And the previous generation
They,
always thought something new was too.
they have to know who they are.
Mm,
If a child does not know who they are, the world will tell them who they are. And
mm,
that comes from all the likes. I like your picture, I like your post, I like your
mm,
picture, I like this. If you
mm.
also notice, a lot of younger ones tend to feel the best way to get the likes they get is either through nudity or doing something absurd.
Preach
The
it, preach it,
hunger,
preach it.
the hunger to be famous today is more than anything else.
Hmm.
There is that hunger to be famous, that hunger to be a star, that hunger to be known. It's nothing like we have ever experienced in our generation.
Right,
Back in our days, the hunger was to get educated and move forward in the world. Not
right.
for the younger ones. Education, yeah, let's get that. But that is not the way of their world. And I'm using the word their world.
Mm,
Their world is about fame,
mm.
any way they can get it. Think
So
about all the
the more edgy
challenges.
they can be.
Absolutely. Think about all the challenges on social media. Challenges are absurd. Remember the bottle challenges where you stack up all these bottles and pour?
Crazy.
People got hurt. But guess what? They got the like, they got the views. It's like, oh my God, 50,000 views, a million views. That is what works for them.
Mm,
So the question is, how do we get them to see and understand in 5 years' time it will not matter? But to them, that is their real world. Their real
right.
world is, oh my God, I have all those likes. Oh my God, everybody loves my page. Look at my Instagram page is growing. My TikTok is growing. I have a million views. And it all comes from doing something outrageous. The norm doesn't sell anymore. Normal stuff doesn't sell. So how do you
So
protect
how do
them?
we let
The-
me ask Moji this now. How
yeah.
do we what can we do to help them not feel that need to be so edgy? You know, that I have to do this so that I can get more likes. I have to do this because people will go crazy about it. Moji, do you want to weigh in on that? You're muted.
Growing. My TikTok is growing. I have a million views. And it all comes from doing something outrageous. The norm
Moji, are
doesn't
you on?
sell anymore. Normal doesn't sell. So how do you
So
protect
how do
them?
we
The-
let me ask Moji this now. How
yeah.
do we okay, Moji, you have two devices on. You
what
have two
can we
devices
do
on. You need to
to
mute
help them
one.
not
Feel that need to be so we can't hear you, Moji. Are you talking? Okay. Irene, please continue.
Can we hear her now? I can't hear.
I can't hear either.
I can
Okay, Irene, please continue.
I would say protection for these young kids honestly starts with us. Unfortunately, a lot of young kids are being raised by social media. They go
So
to
that I can get
school,
more
it's social media.
likes because people will go crazy. But do you want to please continue?
Okay, I wasn't sure if I could hear Mochi or not.
Yeah, I think she has two devices on. So and there's it's like it's repeating us. Please continue.
All right. A lot of kids these days are being raised by social media.
Hmm,
A lot of schools these days, a lot of work is done on the internet.
yes.
These kids are exposed to a lot more than we were in our own days.
Yes.
They're exposed to so much. They get inundated with so much information. It gets confusing for them. But we
Yes.
cannot stop them from seeing that world. What we
Hmm.
really need to instill in them is who they are, values.
That
And the most
honestly,
important thing is value. What do they value? The value system is what matters. Once
yes.
you can get a child, a young adult to value something, then they're good. However, if we do not have that thing for them to value, then the world, the media, will teach them what value
What to
is.
value.
But the
I
value system
yeah.
is that is our sales force right there. We
Hmm.
have to sell value to them. What
I
do
like
you
that. I like
value?
that.
That is the most important thing. Once we can identify what the value, then we're good. Because that value system is what will teach them. And
Hmm.
so if they have that thing they value, no matter what the media is telling them, no matter how many likes they have, they'll be fine. I have a friend who literally deleted their social media out of obsession and being upset for not getting enough likes.
Wow.
Yes, these
And that was
youngsters
a
are
millennial.
obsessed. Yes, these youngsters are obsessed with people liking because that is where they get their value from. They get their value from social media. Oh, they like me. That is not value, but
Mm,
for them it is. So we
mm,
have the job of telling them, hey, there are other things to like, to life, to value.
mm.
We have to
You
change their
know,
value system. That is
feel
why
like
when you have a post, you
we-
have posts of different things. You show a young girl twerking
can't hear you,
and
Moji.
making stupid jokes.
Hey, can we hear you now? Moji? Okay, please, sorry, I continue. Please continue.
When you hear a young girl twerking and being
Can you hear
silly,
her now? I can't hear.
half naked and twerking on social media, you're going to find all the likes there. When you
Mm,
find that young girl who just made, her class top 10 PhD, whatever, you might have two likes. What's the value? So the girl who's in school will think they don't value me. I'm
and
beautiful. I
and
can go twerk.
mm,
I can twerk too.
mm,
And
mm,
then that kind of distorts the whole value system.
mm,
And so society is telling her, well, good for you, have a PhD, but we like what we see. Humans are visual.
mm,
That's it. Humans are visual, like it or not. We go by what we see.
mm.
And so what we see is social media. TikTok. Why did America say no to TikTok in
Right.
America? We have it here, but it's not owned by the Americans because they know that the message that'll be pushed through TikToks for Americans will be one that is not going to add value per se to the society.
Wow.
Meanwhile, in China, yes, TikTok is there, but it's censored. It's censored. America, we don't have that censorship here. So everything that's being promoted in social media, honestly, a lot of stuff is to make people even more dumb. And
Mm,
unfortunately, it also catered to the minorities. I'm sorry, it is.
mm.
You're going to find more minorities doing stupid stuff on social media for value. So that is where the value
Actually,
is.
that is even a conversation to hold another time because
Yeah,
that bottle thing had a lot of minorities on it.
absolutely.
That very dangerous thing.
Absolutely.
So
But that's
I, I
they've made the value system for a certain race, I would say,
mhm,
to be that. You
mhm,
are valued if you can do X. But if you become too smart, we don't value that.
mm,
And so the youngsters who have not been taught their own value at
from
home
home.
tend to go with what the media is telling them is value.
Hmm.
So we have to talk more about value systems. What do you value?
I think of all the conversation we've had today, honestly, I think that that's like the main thing that we need to really hold on to. as intentional parents, we need to give our children or show our children a value or give them value systems that are way different or above what the world system wants them to have, so that they're not intimidated by the things they see out there, which will keep on changing, by the way. And they are governed. There's this internal governing. They are governed by what is on the inside and not by what is being told them on the outside. I want to thank you so much, Catherine and Irene and Moji, for joining this conversation today, parenting, um, intentional parenting. And today we've been looking at parenting generation Z, or the generation tribe, the Gen Z tribe, whatever you want to call them, the internet tribe. There's so much to it. And I'm hoping that sooner than later, I will be able to have some experts also come to speak to us even in more detail about these conversations, and then we continue to weigh in on it. I really appreciate you joining in the conversation. I celebrate everyone who's been able to join in on the live and those who will be joining in much later. God bless you. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you next week as we continue on the conversations of intentional parenting. God bless you. Oh, the Christian communicator just joined. Okay. I'll be looking at now. God bless you.
God
Bye
bless.
bye.
Bye bye.